Welcome to Casually Achieving a Podcast. We got our hosts here, me, Smash Wrath, and Tony, the casual Tony.
Hello.
We got our guests here, Lucian and Grizzly Wolf.
What's up?
Today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy Protagonist and Final Fantasy Antagonist. The top five.
In our opinions.
In our opinions, yeah.
These are
Don't add us.
these are main party members for the antagonists, or the main party members for the protagonist. Sorry about that, I messed that one up. And obviously bad boys who are very evil for the antagonists.
Or girls.
Yeah. Or girls, that's true. There is women who are evil in Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, I got one on my list.
Yeah.
We'll start off with Tony.
My number 5 best protagonist in all of Final Fantasy goes to Kimari from Final Fantasy X.
The man with no horn.
Yeah, Kimari, no horn.
Hornless!
Obviously, I really like the story of being like the smallest from his tribe, trying to work hard to like become strong. Hopefully, one day to become chief, but obviously failing, even though he worked so hard for so many years training, but being the runt of the litter and having his fucking horn just broken off by his brother, who ended up beating him in combat. So he ended up giving up the dream of becoming the tribe leader, but obviously reached out by Auron to be like, hey bro, I want you to help guard this summoner girl. You want to do it? He was like, yeah, sure. And he ends up becoming like probably one of the better teammates in Final Fantasy X.
He's technically a blue mage.
Yeah, that's true. He's technically a blue mage. And also, he's a lance user, which is always a cool thing for me for Final Fantasy. Love me some lances and some spears in fantasy games. Yeah, he's just a really strong, like, just a strong character to have on your team.
Fun fact, he's 6'8".
Yeah, and that is the runt of the litter.
Is that with or without horn?
That is without horn.
Okay.
Without, yeah.
He would have been 7 foot tall if he had had his horn.
Kimari, no horn.
You brought the family.
My number 5 is Sid Highwind.
I also have him as number 5.
I'm not that big on facts, so if I get anything wrong here, I'll let Cody do all the talking. All I know about Sid, there's going to be one in every Final Fantasy. I don't think there's ever going to be a Final Fantasy that doesn't have a version of Sid in it.
Always
Sid was first introduced in, I believe, Final Fantasy 3, actually.
Yep.
He's usually always your mechanic or your airship pilot, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's named after one of the creators and stuff.
Yeah.
He's also a Dragoon. I got my sources right here.
Yeah, in certain game, Final Fantasy 7, Sid Highwind is a lance user, and he is technically would be Dragoon class.
Yeah.
Since he's the lance user.
Yeah.
And he knows jump.
And he smokes cigarettes.
Yeah, he's always going to have a cigarette.
There's a Sid in every game, but that
mop.
Sid sticks out the most when it comes to every game.
Oh yeah, he was the only playable one, wasn't he?
There was only a few playable ones in Final Fantasy 7, and one was Cloud, one was Tifa, and one was Sid. He joins.
Besides that, Cody, since he's number 5, you want to fill in the rest of the wiki facts?
Yeah, sure. He joins the party at his own free will and is playable. Although his dream is to go to outer space, and he puts all his science and so forth, he feels bad for the planet's woes and feels responsible to protect it if no one else will. He's got an attitude, he's not a pushover, and he has crazy AoE attacks all around the board. So he's one of the perfect people to have in your party in 7.
According to the Final Fantasy wiki fandom, his overall character arc is Sid is a tough-looking, warm-hearted old pilot who hasn't forgotten his dreams.
Aww.
Isn't that just wholesome?
So damn cute.
You could call him a sweetheart, and he'll tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yep. His ultimate limit break is just called Highwind.
His dream was almost made, but then there was this person he was kind of half not, half so romantically involved with, was down into the engine part of the rocket, which if he had blasted off, it would have killed her, but he decided not to.
For bonus points here, Cody, do you happen to know what the name of his plane is? Or do you happen to remember it?
I don't remember it.
The Tiny Bronco.
Yes.
I have no idea if any of this is true or not. I'm just reading this off of the fandom site.
Yeah, it is the Tiny Bronco, because I do recall you can use it for a little bit and swim around shallow waters around the world with it.
He also becomes the temporary party leader when Cloud
Yep.
and Tifa go off and do their stuff.
Yep.
When
Breakdown.
Cloud goes comatose.
Yes, when Cloud's figuring out his true self, and that's when you realize that he was taking the memories from Zack.
Yeah.
Sid was your party leader.
I don't really have much of a tier list since I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games. I just know basic things about some of my favorite looking characters, and some that
Well,
I think had like the best backstories.
What's your least favorite?
Least favorite would probably have to be Yuna.
Already throwing shade.
I don't know. Just she's not super interesting. At least not in comparison to her two other female like protagonist tag-alongs.
Yeah, she doesn't have enough belts.
Belts on belts. Colin, looking at you, Lulu.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
got that
God.
long ass rat tail. Like when she changes outfits, you know.
Yeah, so what? She can summon.
She can summon, which is
She can
great.
just summon Ifrit at the start of the game. Who gives a shit?
Exactly. Who cares that she's gonna be led to her death because they need to defeat Sin, so they want to sacrifice all the.
All
the
she is
sinners
just
to
it's just an
delay the
updated
whole
Aerith. That's all she is.
Yeah, useless. Alright.
Oh,
death. She's more useful than fucking Aerith. At least she could summon like Ifrit immediately.
I don't think it was Ifrit that was immediate.
Was it? What? Or was it
Wasn't it the-
Quizzical?
It wasn't.
it was the Firebird, wasn't it?
It was the
The
bird. Yeah.
Thunderbird.
Not the Thunderbird.
Wasn't
Not
that Ifrit?
No, that was what the hell was that called?
Oh yeah. You're right.
It was
The
a new
Aeon.
summon that was introduced in the game. Velfor.
The
yeah.
Firebird was Valfor.
Yeah.
Valfor the Firebird. There you go.
Which was pretty crazy because
Ifrit
you
was
could
the second one.
get an attack for at the start of the game by talking to a dog.
Yeah.
Nice.
My number 4 is Tella, the best wizard of all Final Fantasies, other than maybe one. He's the old man from Final Fantasy 4. He's, I think, one of the best mages, but at the same time, he ends up forgetting most of his spells due to old age. But
Dementia.
when Cecil is on his journey towards the good old mountain to kind of become a paladin to try to forgive himself of all of his sins, Tell learns the spell Meteor. Yeah. And I think he has one of the best sacrifices in all the series. When he ends up protecting the entire party from Golbez's attack, and he ends up casting Meteor, which drains up all of his life energy, and killing himself in the process.
Yes.
Yeah, his spirit does come back though later down when you go to fight Zemus, and ends up helping you out later on. But yeah, his story of trying to protect his daughter, who ends up getting killed by Golbez, and ends up blaming that damn spoony bard, fucking Edward, the fucking worst character in Final Fantasy.
Bard.
Dude,
Yeah,
Edward is the worst character.
Spoony Bird is like one of the most famous quotes from Final Fantasy IV. When Golbez ends up murdering like that fucking castle they're all living in, like Edward and Tella's daughter ends up running away too, because Tella doesn't agree with their marriage, so they end up running away. Tella ends up blaming Edward for it and calling him you spoony bard.
Pretty
Was
sure.
the most impactful insult he could think of
pretty
after
sure-
his daughter died.
I think Edward's the only character in Final Fantasy who had the ability to hide in battle since he's such a
Oh my
little bitch.
god. Yeah, he's so fucking terrible.
We're going to hit up Final Fantasy X again, and that would be Auron.
Yeah.
He's apparently an unsent.
Yes.
And according to the wiki here, Auron is such a badass that he defies the fates of the unsent, which is supposed to remain static in his appearance. But he says, no, screw you, I'm going to look older because I want to be older.
That makes
And
sense.
That's literally the only reason why he looks older and not his young, weird-looking, Hojo hair-looking motherfucking self. Which I guess Hojo was so hated that they felt it through the reverbs of Final Fantasy X. He's like, I don't want to look like this guy anymore. Make me look like Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like a badass. I'm gonna look like Jeff Goldblum.
Doesn't have the same
Yeah.
fashion sense though.
Are you kidding me? If Jeff Goldblum was in that era of time, he would probably dress like that. He would carry a jug with him, have a giant
He'd
robe.
probably wear a Hawaiian
Sleeves on
shirt, a pair of short shorts that are like beige, and some sandals with socks up to his knees.
And he
He
would
would-
turn into a fly.
He would definitely play blitzball. Jeff Goldblum would definitely play blitzball.
Auron here, it's weird because when you look at him, you would instantly think that his class would be samurai, right? He's apparently a monk.
Yeah.
His actual role is a warrior monk.
Yeah, it's one of the few monks with the longsword.
Yeah, it's also called the Masamune, which is the same thing as a certain antagonist that we'll talk about later.
My number 4 was Rydia.
That's a good one.
Yeah, a character that evolves later into a complete summoning badass with black and white magic. So
Yeah.
she doesn't only summon, she also has black and white magic, which is pretty fucking crazy for a character. She faces her troubles head on even at youth, being in a town that completely got blown up by a fireball monster and seeing the mass murder of her people, and gets over her traumatizing experience and forgives Kane and Cecil despite them not knowing what was going on. One of the first female dominant leads in a Final Fantasy game. Yes, better than Terra, and came before Terra.
Absolutely better than Terra.
She literally looks like an adult porn star version of Link's green girlfriend in Ocarina of Time.
There's a
Now,
younger...
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her in the fandom, and that's legitimately what she looks like.
Yeah, she had a young self, like a younger version of herself, then she goes off to find herself and comes back older and more wiser.
Yeah, my only problem with Final Fantasy IV is the fact that they did not cut to Rydia being able to play as her and experience that character development. I think that would have been a great part of that into the game.
Yeah, it was more or less like, also I did this at random points. It wasn't
Yeah.
really... But other than that, yeah.
Hey boys, I forgive you. I'm older now.
The quote for Auron, by the way, segue for that. His quote. I wanted to be doing a quotes for all these people that we're talking about here. It says, "This is my story, and you're not part of it."
Yeah. That is a quote.
That's Auron's. Rydia's here. That we're talking about. A young girl blessed of circumstances who places her trust in those not of this world. I've never played Final Fantasy IV, so who the fuck is that referring to? Who is not of this world?
Wait, what was the quote again?
A young girl of blessed circumstances who places her trust in those not of this world.
Probably
Summonings.
yeah, they'll probably be the summonings because she is the summoner who constantly summons say Miss Dragon, Chocomo, Titan,
Titan.
Leviathan.
Probably gonna
So
be
who's better than you, then? In your
Snow Villiers from Final Fantasy 13.
Son of a bitch.
You both can talk about this one.
Yeah.
No, I
I
can't
mean-
get.
Okay.
He's got that badass motorcycle,
Damn
but at the
straight.
same time, he's
Oh wait, yeah, I can. He is number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can tag team this.
Yeah.
Right.
he gets easily caught up in the moment, if he's like in his emotions, I guess. So like, not the brightest tool in the shed. So
he's a punchy punch man.
very
Not
much.
His
Sharpest
sign
spoon in the
is a
spoon drawer.
literal bear.
Yeah, which is a massive appreciation.
Yeah. I like Snowvilliers. He's my number 3 spot because he's a good guy. Gone. I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Bad boy.
It's like Final Fantasy 13. It's just like he's just like, oh, you know what? I'll do all this work and free everybody for our sakes because I don't want to fucking die. I also want to go back to my fiance Sarah. Final Fantasy 13 2 comes along. Bit of time skip.
Mhm.
His motivation becomes, fuck, I can't get to you, Sarah. How do I do this? And in Final Fantasy 13-3, Lightning Returns, hit of the game, but that's another topic. He becomes a bad guy, or a I don't give a fuck guy. And he's like, she's dead, and it's your fault. We're gonna party until the world ends. Also, if you fuck with me, I'm gonna use my giant ice scythe.
Which is also very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I must say that it is a plus.
I like to compare Snowvilliers to Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho has a lot of forms and a lot of stages, and if you look at the character models for Snowvilliers between the 3 games, he definitely went through a Chris Jericho phase.
He definitely like declined from being that optimistic, happy-go-lucky, like we're gonna do our best and we're gonna do it right and everything's gonna be fine, to being like, well, shit, that hit the fan and I'm going to just kind of give up.
His quote here in the fandom: an irrepressible, fiery young man. Snow dives headfirst into danger using nothing but his powerful physique as a weapon. Easily swayed by emotion. Couldn't tell that. He is prone to rash words and actions. Same. Nonetheless, many are won over by his outgoing, optimistic nature. You go to Lightning Returns,
Kind of dies off.
run away.
Mhm.
His personality quote is, "Since when have heroes ever actually needed plans?"
Well,
So,
Edgy badass
Also-
that guy is.
this dude towers over people. He's 6'7".
Yeah.
That's fucking
That's almost
nuts.
That's almost as big as Kamari No Horn.
for some reason, his foot size is 33 centimeters.
Oh my-
I don't know why that's under the physical descriptions of the wiki, but now we know.
That's a whole like
ladies.
13
Hold
inches.
on.
Yeah.
You know what they say about guys with big feet?
Yeah.
Big shoes.
His shoe size is only, well, let's see. His foot size in inches is almost 13.
Ladies,
Like Final Fantasy 13?
Oh, god damn!
we found the connection, everybody. We can go home now.
Now we know why it was part 13.
What was your number 3, Tony?
My number 3 is Squall.
Oh shit!
Good old Lionheart Squall. I'll just read what I wrote down here. He's the most handsome guy here with a blade that shoots and a master of card games. What's more to say? Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Like he's got the gunblade, man. That's the coolest shit of all time.
Oh.
It shoots.
I'll be talking about
can
Squall
draw?
later, so.
Can we not talk about how Squall is literally almost the most emo-most person until he meets a girl?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, he's very much
Exactly.
so.
He's one of the best ones. He's better. He's one of the better emo, like edgy fucking main protagonists of Final Fantasy of all time.
He's got the scar.
He's got the scar.
He does have the scar, and he got 2 belts.
He only got 2 belts.
He got 2 belts.
My number
Mora, pick up your shit.
Not Lulu belts, but
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Oh, hold on, Cody. Before you go on,
Yeah.
it's the quote.
Yeah.
This is a quote from the man himself.
Yeah.
Right and wrong are not what separate us and our enemies. It is our separate standpoints and our perspectives that separate us. Man could end wars. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Dead Wars.
Fantastic. I love it.
You know what they say about wars.
My
No,
number.
no, the
War
man
never
that end
changes.
wars thing was not me. It was that was not the quote. That was me.
Oh, okay. My number 3 was
Alright, good.
Vivi.
Aw, Vivi.
Yeah,
Vivi's a great
Vivi.
He is a fantastic character.
He's probably one of the most powerful black mage in all of Final Fantasy games.
What is he?
Vivi?
Puppet.
He's basically a puppet who has emotions. He was a failed experiment, and when he saw all the other ones who had no emotions, it made him sad. Because he's like, wait, am I fucked up because I'm not like them? Why can I feel emotion and they can't? And then he starts feeling bad for them because they can't feel the emotion he feels, kind of thing.
He's basically just a Heartless from Kingdom Hearts.
He
Right
is.
there, I said it.
He is, but the game came way before Kingdom Hearts. But
Actually, Vivi makes appearance in Kingdom Hearts.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the beginning of number 2.
he's got an appearance that's not only cool but cute at the same time. He's shy and gullible, but with time he matures, becomes confident. Then he becomes a badass because he basically just blows everything out of the water. If you have Vivi in your team in Final Fantasy IX, you can fuck up almost anything. Like,
He also has sons.
you say suds?
Sons.
Sons.
The kids.
He has kids.
It's kind of weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Apparently,
They all
Vivi
look like
can
him and
also
dress
feel
like him.
horny.
Vivi's been on that bandwagon, you know what I mean?
Vivi's a real love doll.
First sex doll made.
Yeah.
His quote
You're a
is,
little boy.
his quote is, "How do you even prove that you exist? Maybe we don't exist."
Yeah.
Followed by, "I won't let you make any more instruments of murder."
Yeah.
I don't know if that was quoted too. But,
That's quoted towards the guy who was creating the puppets.
My number 3 is gonna have to be Tifa Lockhart.
oh god.
Tifa.
I don't have a whole lot of love for Tifa, but as like a teammate, she is pretty much up there as like one of the more handy ones, given that she's like a brawler.
Yeah, if you get your slots right, it's basically an Omni Slash.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
My only problem with her is that she has a very obvious like lady boner for Cloud, and I don't like Cloud.
Okay then. Also, her hair resembles a dolphin. Who fucking likes dolphins?
She has a move called Dolphin Blow, dude.
That is true. She does
That-
dolphin blow.
She loves dolphins.
she loves,
Yeah.
She loves some dolphins.
She loves
She would have been
some
great for
dolphin.
that science experiment they did
Yeesh.
for dolphins.
Also, you can go into Tifa's underwear drawer and grab her under panties
Huh?
in the game. Yeah.
I'm glad you know that.
Hold on, downloading Final Fantasy VII Original right now.
She gets mad at you when you bring it up. It's when you go into the past and you're in Nibelheim, and you can go in there and play her piano as well. That's also like, well, later on the third disc you can play her. It's either second or third disc. You can play her piano and get one of her either Limit Break or Ultimate Weapon.
It's I think it's her final limit break. Yeah.
And all you have to do is play the same tune that is playing when you're driving the Highwind around the area.
Okay. Apparently, the fandom does not like Tifa at all because she has no quotes.
What's wrong with that?
She says too much, if anything. If it's not quotable, that means it's not important to remember.
The only quote that I see here is a downer quote.
I can give you a quote by Tifa. Shilly shally dilly dally.
Shilly shally dilly dally. There's also another person who has that fucking fur quote though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shilly shally dilly dally.
Oh, she's also a barista.
And who doesn't appreciate a lady who can make a great cocktail?
Exactly.
You're
She
right.
knows how to shake him.
Absolutely.
Also, her blood type is B. If anybody needs to know that. Don't know why that is even remotely needed, But it's in her physical description underneath the fact that she's 5'6" and a human.
That's fantastic.
She dresses up like a cowgirl, so it's all good.
My number 2 is Kane. That's a probably controversial pick because he is also an antagonist for Final Fantasy IV.
Just evil Kane.
Yeah, just evil, brainwashed Kane. He's the childhood friend of Cecil, and also the adopted brother of Cecil. They both were adopted by the royal family. He kind of gets jealous of Cecil because Golbez ends up favoring Cecil most of the time over Kane. And also he also feels jealous because he also loves Rosa, the main female lead in Final Fantasy IV. But Rosa obviously loves Cecil because Cecil is the main guy.
Does he have any relation to Sid?
No.
But they both have the
Or
high
Kane
wind
hybrid.
last name.
I guess, and they both use lances. They're both dragoons types, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It's a weird one to think. Even when Kane was brainwashed by Golbez, he still showed signs of good in him. Like when he was about to kill some of the teammates of Cecil's group, as soon as he sees Rosa, he kind of snaps and realizes what am I doing here? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only way
It's
to
just-
counteract the brainwash is by having super emotions towards someone.
Exactly. And he fucking loved Rosa. Even though Rosa does not feel the same. Feel bad for that boy.
Cucked once again because he's not the main OC.
Yeah. Yeah. Kane is by far one of the coolest, I think, Final Fantasy characters of all time. Even being his Dragoon sprite being used for I don't know how many games, Final Fantasy Online 14.
Yeah.
They used that Dragoon model back in. And I think it's one of the best looking armors used in all through the series.
It was pretty badass armor when the expansion for it in Monster Hunter World came out.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. It's just super iconic, and even though he's probably one of the few antagonist, protagonist style characters that happen throughout all of them, I still think he's one of the best ones well done throughout the years.
He's 6 foot even.
Yeah.
He's also one of the rare left-handed people.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Also his quote, "The solitary gentle-souled dragon knight whose heart lies with the dragons."
Yes.
My number 2, Vincent Valentine. If Final Fantasy / Square Enix was going to have their shot at Leon S. Kennedy from the Resident Evil series, it would be Vincent. In his Turk days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his Turk Days looks a lot like Leon Kennedy.
Also, fan theory from me, I'm a fan. I think that he's actually Sephiroth's biological father. There's just way too many similarities. Also, shout out to the OG Vincent Valentine. You could completely miss him. He's not even relevant to the story. He's just some motherfucker sleeping in a coffin.
Yeah.
Which I think was a callback to how you met Alucard in the original Castlevania games. He turned into all of the horror movie villains for his limit breaks. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah. He also has a full game based on himself, Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah.
One of the best third-person shooters out there.
I wouldn't say one of the best,
don't
because
they fight the undergrounds?
Listen, alright?
With that game, don't they totally retcon fucking Final Fantasy VII's ending?
Look, okay, his limit break is turning into literal chaos. Alright? It's okay. We can give it a pass. Alright? Vincent is one of the, at least in Dirge of Cerberus, you didn't have to wait through half of the game, 3/4 of the game, or at the end to actually have a cool fucking limit break. In Dirge of Cerberus, you activate your limit break from the very beginning of the game. You turn into a fucking badass. They can't lose. Literally, I tried to play the game. First time I ever played a limit break with him, it crashed my fucking game because I destroyed the helicopter too quickly.
I do recall that.
Yeah.
I was there to witness that.
I have visual evidence. I killed the fucking thing too quickly and it died.
You killed
My
it in
game
like
crashed.
2 seconds.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, his original final limit break was literally him turning into fucking Dracula.
Yeah.
It's just great. Also, he has a fucking 3-pronged goddamn gun, 3-barreled gun. Like, what more can you want? His blood type's A. He's also 6 foot.
What's his quote?
His quote: "A mystical man, stern and upright, while at the same time dark and mysterious. Basically, every girl's wet dream."
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
My number 2 was Titus. Yeah.
damn it.
That fucking laugh was always like a nightmare.
Titus, because he's the most realistic and believable character. A character you could literally see any human being. Very relatable. He may be whiny and childish at first, but what do you expect from a young lad with daddy issues who's lost everything? But for someone who was a blitzball celebrity to have everything taken away, he manages to keep himself together and matures throughout the travel with the Summoner and the Guardians through Spira, while constantly being reminded of his father reflects off himself. One of the few characters based off speed and not brute forced.
Yeah.
Plus, he has a bubble sword.
b-ball player.
Yeah.
He's a sword made of bubbles. I'm not going to pass that up.
He also has a special move for blitzball.
Yeah.
Seen that backflip kick?
Yeah, that's the sphere shot, and he also has the jet shot, which is off his daddy.
I mean, literally half of his look, his character model, is what Jet looks like. So,
Yeah.
Daddy issues, definitely. His quote is, "Listen to my story. This," dramatic pause, "may be our last chance."
Yeah, they say it right at the first, before the title screen.
Doesn't he end up dying?
No.
Are you sure? I thought that was the whole thing about Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah. It's like a weird thing. It's a weird thing because
And if for some reason
in the
Yuna,
air.
Riku, and Lulu become fucking dancers? Like, what?
yeah.
What happens in that game? Why was it made?
I don't know why it was made.
It's Charlie's Angels in Final Fantasy.
He was like locked in a cell or some shit at the first, and it turns out like it wasn't even him or something. It was weird. It was another person from Xanderkin.
My number 2 is gonna be Gladiolus from Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, Gladio.
I love a man that can handle a greatsword, and his whole demeanor is just so great. I love him.
Power.
Love looking at him.
He's 6'6".
Do you know his quote?
I've served as your shield through thick and thin. No matter what, I've got your back now and always.
What a sweetheart. Alright, that leads us all to the number 1.
I'm sure this is going to come to zero fucking surprise of how much I mentioned him already.
Cecil?
Cecil from Final Fantasy IV.
Who would have ever fucking thought?
Starting as a child, he was adopted by the royal family and became like leader of the Red Wings. Ended up bombing innocent people, and accidentally, bringing a gifted ring to the village of Mist, and summoning bomb fiends to just blow up the fucking place. Ends up saving Rydia there, and slowly trying to do self-discovery of figure out like, oh, something's up with Golbez, like something's up with the royal family, something's going on. Ends up trying to redeem himself of all the horrible things he'd done in the past by killing innocent people, and becoming a paladin of light, having to fight himself in battle, which I think is one of the most impactful battles of all Final Fantasy, is that battle of him, paladin Cecil versus dark Cecil.
It was a pretty good battle.
It is really good. He ends up realizing that his father was Lunarian, and he's half Lunarian himself, which is a big plot twist. And ends up revealing that Golbez is actually his brother, which is another plot twist that is surprising. But Final Fantasy IV does end off with a very happy note of him and Rosa actually becoming one and getting married and becoming like the new leaders and king and queen of Baron. So I think that is, and it's really, Cecil's story is one of the few that start from dark beginnings all the way to a happy ending that the good boy Cecil fully well deserves.
Red Wings Over Baron is probably one of the better songs out for too.
Yeah.
And the cave
Iconic. Iconic. That opening scene of Final Fantasy IV with all the ships.
So with how many twists that you're saying is in this game, you're saying that the game was directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Probably.
What they twist?
Or George Lucas, with the amount of family members that just end up becoming like, oh, I'm actually your brother this entire time. What?
Cecil's quote, his only quote that this fandom is going to put on here is when he's confronting his dark side. Stay back. This is a fight for me and me alone.
Yes, he tells his teammates to stand back so he can fight himself one-on-one.
And if you are over leveled at that point, you're fucked.
Yeah, because you got to just kind of block it out.
He's also apparently a master at arms who can use swords, holy swords, daggers, axes, staves, and bows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the few classes that can, he's one of the few that can actually do that. Also, when he becomes paladin, he can use light magic or white magic.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's actually not only the strength of your team, but also the healer.
Yeah, he becomes a support tank.
Yeah. Which is a weird class.
I just like the name of his ultimate white magic skill that he has. Cease! It's just cease!
So good.
Oh, okay. Now listen here. Everybody knows this is gonna be my very first, my very best protagonist is going to be the main man for Final Fantasy VII, Cloud Zekfair. Cloud fucking sucks. Go back to the countryside and never to be returned again, please. Go into a coma. Nobody likes you. Your entire personality is not even your own. All right. You have Zach's memories, but you have the personality of a fucking stump. Nobody likes you.
Oh my God.
Zach Fair, he's fantastic. He is what should have been the poster boy for Final Fantasy VII. Right? You only play him at Crisis Core. He shows up every now and then throughout the game, Final Fantasy VII. The best thing about the remake is that they brought him back. Okay? Because they know that they fucked up. Nobody likes Cloud. Alright? Cloud, I don't even like Cloud. Zach Fair, man. What does he want from Humble Beginnings? He just wants to be a first-class soldier like his mentor Angeal. You know? Literally, this guy has the gumption to get knocked the fuck out, wake up under Aerith's care, under her church, and he literally asks her out on a date as repayment for her waking him up.
But
he is wanting her to repay him for waking him up from his unconsciousness.
Yeah.
He asked her out on a date. Literally, what other fucking protagonist in Final Fantasy has the gumption to talk to the leading lady and be like, we're going on a date? And not just any date, they go to the fucking beach.
Nice.
Ooh, the beach episode.
Yep.
Gotta love the beach episodes.
He is the main man with a Buster Sword, right? It's also one of the Final Fantasy games that actually has a fucking time skip on it, much like its predecessor, Final Fantasy IV, which I believe has 3.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, Final Fantasy Crisis Core, if it didn't have that stupid activating combat mode, or conflict resolved after every fucking random encounter, it would be such a better game.
How about the slot machine systems for level ups?
I don't mind it. It's irritating, but I don't mind it. Square Enix, please, you make the game. Okay. Give it the whole Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories treatment. Okay?
What's his quote?
To be a hero, you need to have dreams.
Oh. My number one was Squall.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course.
Hey,
Gunblade.
He lives for his job first. He lives for his job first. Questions life as game unfolds. He's a leader not by choice, but due to his excellent leadership skills during the Seed quests/jobs. He becomes a commander of Balam Garden, one of Seed's main strongholds, rough at communication at first, but becomes one of the better relationships towards people, whether it's party or romance. He's not very talkative, so he doesn't annoy the actual player. I find that a lot of the time, if you got like too upbeat of a main protagonist, that it kind of gets annoying after a bit. But with him, he's just very cold, but he's focused at all times. If there was anyone you want on a team, it would be him to be top tier, because he has a gun. Get this. He has a gun.
Oh, whoa.
That's a blade.
You're fucking kidding me.
And he has 2 belts.
Oh my god.
2 belts.
Yeah.
How many does Cloud have?
None.
Just 1?
None.
Yeah, he just has like a weird gladiator build.
Exactly. Squall has
Fuck you,
2
Cloud.
belts. Squall has 2 belts. Whew.
It should be like no guess who my number 1 is. It's
Oh,
Aerith,
boy.
of course.
Dilly shally dilly dally.
She's so precious, and yet she's so cocky at the same time. She tries everything, given that she can see into the future. She tries everything that she has to make sure that people stay alive, and tries to alter like destiny basically, and try to not, lose people that
She
don't
didn't see the
deserve to
sword
die.
going through her chest.
Actually, she knew it was going to happen.
She didn't
Yeah.
know it was going to happen.
No, she knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
She knew it was going to happen. Her blood type is O.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
for like, oh
I
my
got stabbed
god,
in
there's
the
a sword in
back.
my chest.
Yeah, oh shit, I just got stabbed. This actually really hurts.
She's
Why am I dying?
regardless of losing her first love, which is Zack, unfortunately, she does keep up an optimistic, joyful, just upbeat personality, and does not take shit from anybody, or at least tries to throw it back at them with her own little spin on what to say.
Yeah. She also saw her mother die in front of her eyes.
She did,
She's actually one of
she-
the last remaining centrists as well.
yes.
Yeah.
An ancient race of people that basically owned the planet.
She's also the reason why Sephiroth got the black materia and summoned Meteor.
it's fine. She's a plot device.
Regardless,
Fault on her.
She's everybody's favorite flower girl.
the fact that she tries to communicate with the flowers is just that simple amount of wholesomeness that I feel like almost every Final Fantasy needs.
She is pretty wholesome.
Her quote is Aerith's note to Zack.
No, there's
I-
another one.
I have 23 tiny wishes, but you probably won't remember them all. So I have to put them all into one. I'd like to spend more time with you.
Her personality quote right down at the bottom is, "You worry too much. I'm not some princess who needs to be coddled."
And also her most famous quote, shilly shally dilly dally.
Damn it.
God damn it. What the fuck?
Shilly shally
Yes.
dilly dally.
Yes, the soccer of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh my god.
Hey, at least she works as an appropriate healer.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is
she is
That's
like
more than
the
what
best
Sakura ever
healer.
did.
I mean,
Sakura just sat there and just wished for Sasuke to look at her, and all he did was just try to kill her, and she still fell in love with him and had his kid.
at least Aerith had cure all for a limit break.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Tony, start us off with your number 5 for Antagonist.
Gold Bez from Final Fantasy IV.
Really? Number 5? What
Number
the
5,
hell?
yeah. I have him low because like there's so many better antagonists throughout the series. Throughout like all of Final Fantasy V, and due to the fact that Golbez is kind of being just brainwashed for all of it, kind of brings it down for me. I mean, he did do a lot of evil, like by like brainwashing Cain to, well, forcing his family to just abandon Cecil, to like convincing Cecil to just bomb a fucking village. Like he's pretty evil. But
He is,
at the
yeah.
same time, he's been brainwashed for his entire life. So like, I didn't really. There could have been some good in him, but for all you know, he's evil, just evil. And it's really like kind of a bland antagonist for that series, I'd say.
He did have a lot of character development, though.
Yeah, he did have a lot of character development, which is good and surprising. But yeah, I just thought he was pretty bland for a villain for Final Fantasy IV. He's cool though at the same time, and did a lot of fucking evil and just manipulative shit. But no, I think I have more evil people down the list. But yeah, from convincing Cecil to just bomb an entire village to try to capture all the crystals, and brainwashing Kane to help him gather all the crystals. Yeah, I think he was a really well done one, but there could have been more. I think there just could have been more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a quote on him, Lucian?
Take this, my final gift to you. You know, this is a hard one for me, so I'm gonna have to go. It's a double whammy. It's going to have to be Hojo. But not just any version of Hojo. The Hojo where he uploads himself into Weiss. That's the thing. Weiss is basically the Wu-Tai version of Sephiroth.
Ooh. I'm assuming that's from Crisis Core, right?
Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, for obvious reasons, Vincent really hated Hojo.
Yes.
And so I believe he does end up killing Hojo and Dirge of Cerberus at one point. And Hojo, being the evil genius that he is, somehow uploads himself to Weiss, who apparently was too powerful that he had to go in a comatose state and put himself into the internet.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah. He also has, for some reason, the exact same motivation as Sephiroth, to cleanse the planet. He doesn't want to destroy the planet like Sephiroth does, but he wants to cleanse it. Yeah, kind of like a certain historical figure back in the day that nobody liked. Don't want to say it for YouTube because they don't like that kind of shit.
He said it.
I'll just
say it.
Like I said, I can bleep it.
That's the video.
I also have
gone
to
to
bleep
shit.
out the fact Tony said.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do that one too. To those of you watching and listening right now, you're not gonna know what either of us have said, but we know.
Yeah.
So we know, so you don't have to know.
Yeah.
His
You know the evil.
Weiss's quote is, "There's nothing that can destroy me. Nothing."
Shit. My number 5 was Seymour.
Seymour.
Yeah.
As Maester, Seymour has influence all over Spira, which means he also controls the temple rituals and teachings. Religion is a powerful thing in the game, and going against it means going against the world at that point. He's not only a mage, but a summoner as well. He tries to force his way into marriage with the summoner so he can gain power to become the next Sin and destroy the world. There's no hesitation in murder. He killed a maester himself. He tries to rationalize it as, I'm saving them for pain itself. Most of his hate resorts around being a child and having trauma from being a birth heresy, which is basically the fact that he's half human, half Guado, and witnessing his mother being faith itself.
I gotta take a piss break. I'll be back.
Intermission. This is when you just like turn off everything, like do like a little fade to like static, and then have like the elevator waiting music. You know, the free royalty free shit.
Yeah,
Say intermission.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Grizzly lost her shit when she saw Kate Sith.
Oh, really?
Lost her shit. She couldn't fathom it.
It's a suit.
She couldn't fathom that Reeve, good guy Daddy Reeve, was a cat in disguise.
Yeah.
Couldn't fucking fathom it.
So fucking stupid.
It's fucking
What
hilarious.
did I just come back to?
Tony.
Yeah.
Tony. I was playing the remake, right? Grizzly was watching me.
Yeah.
when the Sector 7 plate fell, okay, it showed like a quick glimpse of Kate Sith like getting on his knees and be like, "No, what have you done?" She lost her shit. And then when I told her that Reeve was him inside of him, she lost it even more.
Oh my god.
I almost need to get my emergency inhaler because I was starting to like lose consciousness from laughing.
What the
I'm
fuck?
just like, what the fuck is that?
Listen, compared to everything else, like you don't even see like the cactars. All right, those guys are dumb looking. The chocobos look great, and then you just see this cartoon-looking fucking cat in a cape with a crown. Looks like he came straight from like some kid's book or in Kingdom Hearts. Like, what?
He's a mascot.
Mascot is right. He looks like something that shouldn't be in a serious game, unless he was on like the cover of like some magazine or on the side of a pop can.
Just wait till you see him riding his fucking gumball demon thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that thing's gonna be fucking great.
I'm gonna try not to look that up right now.
Have you not seen Kate Sith?
No, she has not. She has not seen anything Final Fantasy
What?
VII related until I played the remake with
I'm
it.
basically a Final Fantasy virgin, if that gives you any context. I've not played any games. I tried to play Final Fantasy X-2, but it wouldn't let me because my PS2 wouldn't comprehend that a disc was inside of it. But it was also a rental, so it was super scratched up from previous people.
That's probably for the best, though. They never
All right.
played that one.
Back on track. You were talking about Seymour.
Oh yeah, I was done talking about Seymour.
Oh, his quote
yeah.
is, "Well, if you're offering your lives, I will just have to take them."
My number
If you have
5
one.
is Reno,
Reno.
because
It's the coolest boy.
he's not like a bad guy, you know. He just works for a bad company.
He's just a Turk.
Yeah, he's just doing his job.
He'd be a
And
Turk. Turk be Turkin.
Yeah, Turk be jerking.
and so like, you know, he does have a slight tinge of like, oh well, I feel bad doing this, but at the same time, I kind of need to do this because if I don't, I'm probably gonna die. Or they're at the very least gonna fire me and then kill me. He's cocky. He's so like, he's a bit lazy as well.
Plus, he is the best fucking sidekick, rude boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
rude boy.
Also, a little side note for Reno here. He's voiced by everybody's favorite voice actor, Quentin Flynn.
He also has like the best scene in Advent Children.
Voiced by, he's the guy who does Axel, Kingdom Hearts, and Raiden from Metal Gear Solid.
Was that the Metal Gear Solid no one cared about?
No, everybody liked Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, it was Metal Gear Solid 2. I thought it was Metal Gear Rising or something.
Yeah, Rising Revengeance, same character, same voice actor.
Oh,
But everybody liked 2, though. He says, his quote is, "I hate doing cleanup, but I'm just so goddamn good at it."
can't get a better fucking quote than that.
Really can't.
My number 4, Sin from Final Fantasy X. The
Jesus.
destructive whale himself is my number 4. The destroyer of Sphera. I mean,
Lord.
yeah, the Whale Lord. He's usually defeated whenever they would sacrifice summoners, but due to the events of Final Fantasy X, they obviously don't want to kill the summoner, and they end up turns out that Sin is actually reincarnated Jet.
Yeah.
Being in the body of Sin, and Jet is Tidus's father. And the whole reason why Tidus has a weird daddy issue problem. Yeah.
My dad's a demon whale.
I mean, there's not much to say. I don't think Sin has any memorable quotes. He's just kind of a giant, destructive fucking whale that comes back every few
I
years.
actually have a quote from Sin himself when he talked.
Is it?
Yes. However, Waka has a very memorable thing to say about Sin. Sin is our punishment for letting things get out of hand.
Yes, he was created during the war too.
He
the
also
war.
has a lot of different variants, apparently, and not just the whale.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Because they're sin
That's
spawns.
Yeah. They're spawns of sin.
He's got a weird crab-like looking one. He's got a weird fucking frog-looking one.
Yeah.
Love me my frogs.
Best monster
the
from
whale.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, best monster. It's frog. Or toad. Comes that boy.
I like Jet's favorite quote. It's not on the fandom probably, but what are you doing, crybaby?
My list is actually going to be a little bit shorter because I can't really think of any memorable antagonists. But let's go with number 4. It's going to have to be Garland/Chaos.
That's a good choice.
From the first game.
Yeah.
Very first big bad.
Garland, man, he started off as Warrior of the Light, starts going, like saying, fuck this, which is basically the plot of a lot of bad guys. Just saying, fuck it.
Yeah, but he has a kick-ass name, Chaos.
Yeah, he has to absorb the 4, what is it, evil spirits,
Yeah.
I think is what that is.
Something.
And then he is able to go back and forth through time as Chaos. He's also voiced by Christopher Sabat. I believe that's Vegeta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Chris Sabat.
And Piccolo. And a lot of other people. He voices a lot of people.
What's his quote,
Yeah.
though?
I, Garland, will knock you all down.
Doesn't get any classier than that.
Yeah, it goes back in time to absorb the power of the tower to send fiends into the future to destroy the world, essentially.
Now, his other form, Chaos. Talk about Chaos a little bit. Chaos is fucking chaotic. He's evil.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he is.
His quote is, "At the end of the dream, even chaos tears itself apart."
That's a better quote.
Yeah.
A lot better. Like, there's not even a scale.
I will knock you all down.
Well,
Yeah.
he won't do. He apparently doesn't like the creator. It just says here that he doesn't like it. That he doesn't like the creator. The fuck's the creator?
My number 4
probably
was
God.
fucking- Yeah, it could be God. My number 4 was Zemus/Zeromus, the final boss from 4. He's a Lunarian. Well, Lunarian is a race from the moon, who is firm in his beliefs that the Lunarians should annihilate the humans and take over Earth. He can control people's minds. Zemus wants to populate Earth because he considers Lunarians the superior race in comparison to Earthlings, and any coexistence between the two is impossible. Even though he uses Lunarians like tools to use to force his utopia into a reality, his will is so strong that it can exist independent of him and forge a new existence even without Zemus' original body. After he dies, his hate manifests into a creature called Zeromus. Zeromus wants to let others suffer and destroy everything. Even in defeat, it proclaims to always linger as long as evil exists in the hearts of the living.
This game, apparently, the wiki does not like Zemus. Because it doesn't have basically anything on here.
Zemus is like one of those things where it's like after you're done beating Golbez, the big bad,
Yeah.
you realize, oh, it wasn't Golbez all along, it was Zemus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
His
like-
only quote is, the body dies, but the spirit lives on."
Yeah, which leads him to Zeromus, right? Because after he dies, he manifests
That's
his
4.
hate into Zeromus. And
Which is basically sin,
Zeromus is the spirit and hatred of Zemus.
but he talks. No suffering, no death is his quote.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Don Corneo.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah.
You mean Don
He-
Codeo?
He has a little bit more of like a dynamic personality than Reno, and that's why he's above him. Plus, like, he's so skeezy and gross, but he has so much power in like the slums of Wall Market, and his whole dynamic is just that stereotypical guy who, you know, makes girls uncomfortable, but he has the power to just call upon them and they will do it because they fear him and what he has the power to do over people.
Murder like any woman that he's done with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just sends him down.
Pretty
to
sure in the
sewer.
remake, doesn't he like fuck one of his workers' wives and then kills
Yeah.
her?
His
Yeah.
fiance, and they don't. It kind of like it's hinted that she could be alive, and he just kind of threw her out. But at the same time, it's like she's dead. Had his way with her, and she's just gone from this world.
She got
She
eaten.
was brought back to the planet.
I mean, you've seen his thrust movements.
Now
And how
listen,
pervy he is being told like and talked down to, and Cloud is like a girl.
he doesn't have any quotes, so I will take one for myself and say it here because it is the most disturbing one that I've heard him say.
Oh no.
Come give Daddy some sugar.
Ew. Jesus
Ugh.
Christ.
Oh,
Yeah, he says
God.
that to Cloud.
So good. So fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Don Corneo. He's such a creep. Hojo.
Oh,
He's low on my list, but Hojo, yeah. He's kind of the whole reason why Final Fantasy VII ends up happening. The mastermind behind the Soldier Project and the Genova Project. He's a mad scientist that ends up creating Sephiroth
yeah.
by injecting Genova cells into a woman. He ends up like killing Vincent and doing like horrible experiments on him, throwing him into a fucking coffin and burying him away.
Yeah.
And also does experiments onto Red 13 as well, trying to breed Red 13 with Sentra.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just evil and mad and just absolutely crazy. And all the experiments he does kind of end up coming back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Actually,
So,
in the
like-
original game, before you were supposed to fight him, they had plans that you were supposed to go up a bunch of different reds,
Yeah,
but they
Like,
didn't do it.
he's a fucking psychopath. And I think he's well deserved to be on the list of like top 5 fucking horrible antagonists of all Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
Because he just all the just insane stuff he ends up doing. Yeah.
He's very much so a
Uh,
creepy man.
His quote is kind of weak, but I'll say it anyways, and I'll give it a little splash from mine because it's fresh to memory.
Yeah.
It says, "Once a scientist, always a scientist." I must say, but this is what I see. What everybody knows Hojo as a sadistic motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's talking to Aerith, saying, "Would you like to see your mother under a microscope because we dissected her to her very last atom?"
All right. My number 3 was Ultimecia.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh
one.
yeah.
Yes, from Final Fantasy VIII. She's the sorceress from the future who possesses and manipulates people from the past to achieve time compression, which is a major plot point. It's the concept of condensing all of the time and space into a single moment or a singularity. By compressing the entire universe and placing herself at the center of it, she wants to assimilate all of the creation into herself, then use her sorceress power to recreate everything to her desires. In other words, making herself one with existence as a whole to become a living god. She knows some of the most powerful magic ever. Well, she is a sorceress, able to manipulate others to make them bend to her will, and to manifest and give life to the subconscious thoughts and inanimate objects. Ultimecia is the first identified female antagonist in the series. Some people thought it was Cloud of Darkness. However, Cloud of Darkness is a genderless.
Yeah.
So
This woman, her quote, somebody needs to talk to somebody who did her makeup because goddamn, she's ugly. Time, it will not wait, no matter how hard you hold on. It escapes you and blink.
yep.
Couldn't even finish her own quote.
Nope. She's gone.
There's another one upside down.
Yeah, I'm not reading that.
Not that one, the one below it. I am
Ultimecia.
Ultimecia. Time shall compress, all existence denied.
Apparently, one below that, I am picturing her as a very, very pissed off, and dominant hooker. This is
Okay.
reality. No one can help you. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
My number 3 for antagonist is Rufus Shinra,
Rufus.
the man of many belts
Many
Yes.
in the remake.
Many belts. Let's count.
He-
Let's see, 1 belt. He's got belts on his wrists.
His whole demeanor when he's facing off with Cloud is almost sexually confusing with the way that they talk to each other.
Wait, hold on. You're not talking about Rufus.
Yes,
You're
I'm talking about
You're talking
Rufus.
about Roche, aren't you?
No, I'm talking about Rufus.
I don't remember him talking sexually to Cloud. I remember that being Roach. Are you sure? Did we
Yes.
play the same game?
I watched you play it, but you weren't paying attention to what he was saying as much as I was.
If not,
You know, when Rufus looked over at Cloud with that look, being like, bend me over and fuck.
Not like that.
Fuck, I bet you got cross slash.
You can clam my hazards.
Jesus.
what did he say?
Give me that
He said
buster
many
blade.
things.
Just help me!
Come on.
Cloud, you should be a little braver and come over here.
Oh my god.
The only one that I remember like having really, really like sexual talk is Roach.
Hit my ass with a Nama slash.
Oh my god!
Please lay the
No.
finishing touch and hit me with that meteor rain.
No.
Holy
God.
shit.
Okay, well she's looking that up. Let's count. Let's count the belts on this man. He's got 2 belts on his wrist, 1 belt where it should be, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Count 'em! 10 belts on his waist down to his knees.
That's good.
Fuck
He's
yeah.
got 14 belts in total. He is the belt man.
Not as much as Lulu, but he's getting there.
Oh my god.
Does he have a quote you want to read, or?
I'll control the world with fear. It takes too much to do it like my old man. A little fear will control the minds of the common people. There's no reason. There's no reason to waste money on them.
There's no reason to
He's gonna be wheezing after Cloud gets that ass.
Yeah.
give him a speech impediment and he becomes the best villain of all time when he opens his mouth.
Reason to waste money on them.
Sounds like Kate said.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
The way he used coins to make like an ultimate blast when he shot his guns at Cloud was pretty cool.
yeah,
Lucy had a hard time with him.
yeah. I did.
he did.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize
Yeah,
all
he
you had to
did.
do was like do a fucking braver. Like I didn't know.
Oh
It was
my
mainly the
god.
dog because the dog was such a shield.
All right, Tony, what's your number 2?
Seymour. We mentioned him before, I think.
Oh yes, he was my number
I fuck-
5.
I fucking love Seymour as a villain. He was in Final Fantasy X, like as probably the best villain of all Final Fantasy, maybe other than 7, obviously. But he's like the ultimate evil summoner who ends up murdering his own father and trying to force himself into marrying Yuna, just so that way he'd be like, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. I could do it for you if you marry me. And obviously, that's the most evil thing a man could do, is force himself onto a woman. And also, the second most evil thing you could do is interrupt the blitzball game with fiends. What an
Yeah.
awful man he is. Yeah. And then later on, he ends up combining himself with Sin
Yeah.
to make it the ultimate thing, right? So he is like, as much of a good summoner he is, and as much as like it was easy once he was part of your team for a bit. He is like super fucking evil, just crazy at the same time,
Oh, yeah.
murdering innocents and making himself seem good upon the view of millions of the sphere universe type thing because of religion.
Yeah.
He's manipulating religion in order to make himself seem good, but in all reality, he's fucking evil.
Religion's like a big fucking deal.
And yeah, especially in Final Fantasy.
And number 10, that was like the whole fucking game.
Yeah.
No one wanted to use Machina due to the fact to be against Yevon or whatever.
Yeah. So he's taking that and using it as excuses to make himself seem good. It's just crazy. It's crazy. That's why Seymour is my number 2. Yeah.
Just like
That
looking
V-
at him.
That V he has though.
His hair, like you can't even just look at just his hair and be like, yeah, this guy's on the good side. Like no.
Oh yeah, I knew he was evil like right off the bat.
Like,
Was it the fact that he forced himself onto the woman? Was it the fact that his first Aeon enema looks like a fucking mummified just creep?
You can get that Aeon, though.
I know you can get that Aeon, but like, holy fuck, everything about Seymour immediately screams like, this is a bad guy. This is a bad guy. Don't trust this guy. What are
It's
you
just-
doing?
It's just like from the Marvel movies where Captain America and the rest of the Avengers couldn't tell that these guys are obviously working for Hydra.
Exactly. Like he's very like, he does have like kind of a sad backstory though about him watching his mother end up dying due to sin. Like that is a sad backstory, but at the same time he does slowly end up corrupting himself in loneliness, and murders his father, which is fucked up. But yeah,
ugh, don't we all?
yeah, exactly. What a sad boy.
All right, what's your number 2, Lucian?
Oh, only the best antagonist of Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth.
That's my number 2 as well.
We well, the good. We can tag team this shit. Sephiroth here, you know, he started off as a good guy. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
He had 2 best friends, Genesis Rhapsodus and Angeal.
Oh, yeah, good. You're hitting the Crisis Core part of it. Sweet.
Oh yeah, you know, he was the one that Zack wanted to be. Zack Fair's idol was Angeal and Sephiroth. He wanted to be the number 1 hero, just like Sephiroth was, until Genesis laid a truth bomb on him because he was a little prick who was jealous of him. So he was like, I know something you don't know.
Yeah.
And basically just made him have a mental breakdown. And he figured out that he was an experiment, as we talked about with Hojo. And yeah, when you think of a villain, he's got everything. He's pure fucking evil.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing more you could ask for
No.
in a bad guy. He has multiple different forms. He has the wing when he's starting to get serious. He carries the fucking overcompensator Masamune.
With one hand.
With one hand. He's also one of the rare left-handed people in the Final Fantasy universe, because there's not a lot of them.
Pain.
That's why I said he's one of the others. I said Kane's one of the left-handed people. I already gave him a shout-out, Tony! Relax!
Kane made it cool.
One of the things that he says to a dying Genesis, because he said it out of spite after Genesis dropped the truth bomb on him. He said, whether your words are lies created to deceive me or the truth that I have sought all of my life, it makes no difference. You will rot. And I think that was his first evil thing that he said, because Genesis was one of his best friends.
Yeah.
Take it away, Cody.
A soldier who's better than the rest. When he found out about his experiments that was towards him, he started to resent Shenra. Then, over time, began to hate everything. He's a symbol of Cloud's troubled past that haunts him. He's intellectual and respects those who deemed worthy. Super strength and master swordsman, the only one capable of wielding the Masamune. Force cut through steel and concrete, slashes within the blink of an eye. No longer needs materia to use magic after absorbing the knowledge of the ancients and being immersed in the life stream.
Yeah.
After gaining the black materia, he gets the ability to use Meteor, though in the remake he can cast it without the black materia because the game doesn't make sense and it's dog shit.
I have a reason for that. I have a theory.
It's Sephiroth from the future.
Yes.
Has,
There's Spider-Man into the multiverse shit. This shit.
Cody did not like that Spider-Man movie, actually.
It's Sephiroth. It's the Sephiroth version of that. I guarantee it. I'm calling it now.
he has the ability to lock down the materia known as Holy so it doesn't interrupt his meteor. Having been injected with Genova cells while still a fetus and then exposed to pure Genova cells undiluted by human DNA, the abilities Sephiroth gained from such a direct method of exposure make him the superior specimen of the Genova project, surpassing the capabilities of Genesis and Angeal. Sephiroth cannot degrade and also cannot be copied, and his genome can't be broken down. Even after Sephiroth's physical body is destroyed, his will persists. After overpowering Genova's will, Sephiroth gained the ability to exert his influence through her cells, able to construct avatars in his likeness as well as other eldritch entities, enabling him a physical presence in the world of the living and attaining a sort of immortality. He can remotely control Genova cells inside living organisms, affect the thoughts and actions of those injected with her cells, and in severe cases can outright puppeteer their bodies.
Yeah, and he also has the most badass soundtrack.
You're fucking right. That is one of the better ones.
He's also 6'7". My God!
Yeah, and his sword's probably like 12
What's
feet.
the biggest Kimari?
What? He's about 1.5 Kamaris.
What's your favorite quote?
My quote is, "I will never be a memory," because the motherfucker always keeps coming back.
Yeah. He really sexually says Cloud, too. You notice that?
Yeah.
It's
Cloud.
because
Like an Advent Children when he comes down after they fight, what was it, Kadaj?
Yeah,
He just
good
comes
to
down
see
like,
you, Cloud.
good to see you, Cloud.
Isn't it because like they're both like the same person because they both got stabbed by his sword and his blood went with Cloud's blood? Isn't that the thing? that
Cloud
went on?
stabbed
Tifa
Sephiroth.
Tifa stabbed Sephiroth with his sword, and then he
Yeah.
stabbed Cloud with the sword after Cloud stabbed him with the Buster sword. And then I think that caused him to go into a fucking coma
Probably.
because Sephiroth's cells went into Cloud, and that's why Zack was like, shit, put him in Mako.
It's the only solution.
Yeah.
Bathe him in Mako.
My number 2 is Scarlet.
Oh, Lord.
Listen.
Nobody knows who Scarlet is!
What?
I don't. I don't know. who
Scarlet
Scarlet
is the weapons development director for Shinra, and she gives off massive Dami Mommy vibes, and I love it.
Oh my god.
I personally love her quote when she says, "Personally, I've never had a problem with torture." And one of the first few times you see her, she's got her legs on top of a soldier who's on his hands and knees being her footrest.
Yep. And he
she
follows her
just-
around like a dog.
Yes, follows her around on all fours all the time, and she doesn't have any kind of like power over them, like physically. She just has that mental overpower over them, and I find that incredibly like fascinating for any enemy, considering that she doesn't really have to do anything in order to be known as like a higher being above you.
Reminds me of a little someone from Resident Evil, huh?
Ada Wong.
Lady
No.
Dimitrescu.
Oh.
Another Dami Mommy that I
Mommy
love.
Dimitrescu.
She's also 40 years old, by the way.
Who's 4 years old?
She's
Scarlet.
40.
Oh, 40.
Yeah, but no, that's a good quote right there. Personally, I've never had a problem with torture. That's a good quote.
Fucking hilarious.
Great.
What was the quote? I missed the quote.
Personally, I've never had a problem with torture.
Oh. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Shit.
All
I
right,
can tell he's really
Tony, you're number 1.
My number 1 is from Final Fantasy VII. I don't know if anyone else has mentioned this. Johnny! I'm fucking with you. It's Sephiroth. It's Sephiroth. Plot twist. It's Sephiroth. Yeah.
Why didn't you talk with us when we were talking about Sephiroth?
Sephiroth's my number 1, obviously, because like fucking injecting the Genova cells into being birthed from Hojo by injecting Genova cells into Lucretia, then becoming the top ranked fucking soldier, to using the black materia to injure the planet, not destroy the planet. He just wanted to injure it so that way he can get into the life stream to absorb himself into it to become a literal fucking god. That was his plan. Obviously, that didn't work out because Cloud and the boys stopped him. But yeah, Sephiroth is like the ultimate bad guy in all of Final Fantasy, from the look down to like everything. It's iconic no matter where you put him. To me, he is the ultimate bad guy. Everything about him is just cool swagger bad guy. The Masamune is iconic as well. The giant fucking sword that makes no sense why he's able to hit it with one hand. Just fucking just backhands you it and you just die. Even in Final Fantasy VII, I think Final Fantasy VII does have two of the most iconic battles, having Sephiroth being in it. Obviously, the final one where it leads into the final battle where it's black screen with Cloud and Sephiroth, where Cloud just uses fucking Ami Slash to just fuck him up. Two, the flashback scene with Sephiroth where you end up fighting that giant dragon thing. And it was literally Sephiroth just fucking backhands the dragon and be like, fuck you, bitch.
As the dragon like one hits you.
Yeah. As the dragon literally one hits you, but Sephiroth's just like, fuck you, and backhands it and kills it.
A little bit of a side tangent for Sephiroth, because I forgot to mention it. There is a way in the original Final Fantasy VII that you can get him to be a legit party member, where he's not supposed to be, but you can get him. I don't know fucking
weird.
how, but
Mod.
I see this fucking no. It's not a mod. It's a legitimate way. It's inside the game.
That's funny.
It's not a mod.
But no, Sephiroth is generally the ultimate bad guy. His just whole story of being just created by scientists and thinking that he's the Sintra to realizing, oh, I'm not actually a Sintra. That's why I cannot speak to the Earth. He's just a fucking abomination scientist lab experiment where created by Hojo is just, it's a crazy fucking story. That's what's in just literally causing Sephiroth to go crazy, start talking about how Genova is his mother, is just everything about it is crazy.
It's a story of a tragic hero turned villain because his mind breaks.
Exactly. It's a great story. Kind of reminded me a bit of Kane, but not. Or reminded me of Golbez, but more well polished.
You can't compare everything to Thor.
It's one of those stories. It's a great, well told story that even surpasses Final Fantasy IV, I think. And I think Sephiroth is the highlight of Final Fantasy VII. His villainy and his story really helps carry it. Even though originally it was just supposed to be like a mental horror thing, but creating it into an actual physical being was a great idea. The fact they showed him way too early in Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of, I don't know, I didn't care much for it. I understood it, but let's be honest here, it would have been better held off a bit.
It would have
So
been.
fuck you, Cloud.
Sephiroth is the ultimate bad guy. He carries everything in that game.
We're going to Final Fantasy 15. Arden Izunia, or Adagian, as his original name was. Arden, man, let me tell you, we just mentioned tragic heroes. He started off as a legitimate healer, blessed by the fucking gods to heal any type of ailment to anybody that he touches. Literally modern day Jesus in Final Fantasy. Always doing miracles, except instead of curing it and making it go away, this dude literally sucked up all of the ailments and put it into his being. Because he would rather suffer than see his people suffer. That all changed on the day that his little brother got so jealous of him that he murked his fucking fiancé. And then said to everybody, Arden did it. He's the one who killed the speaker, which was his girlfriend at the time. So we need to. He's also the Star Scourge. He's the evil guy. He's got all this evil inside of him, and so he ends up getting locked away, imprisoned for thousands of years, until the modern bad guys, the modern Shinra, I don't know what it's fucking called that day, Niflheim. That's what it is, not Niflheim. That's trademarked. until they break him out. And he gets caught up on the current affairs. He finds out that his brother's bloodline is still going on, which infuriates him to no end. So he takes it upon himself to do the most badass thing that not even Sephiroth has done in his timeline. He has so much evil kept up inside of him that he can go up to Ifrit, one of the major fire summons, corrupt Ifrit to become his slave, change his entire molecular structure to becoming just something made out of darkness. It's fucking amazing. However, when he tried to alter what Fate has already had in store, Fate was like, you know what? I'm not going to have anything to do with this, so I'm going to just go ahead and kill this guy and end my brother's bloodline. Fate was like, you know what? We don't like you doing that. So we're going to stop you, teleport you away, but you're also going to be the bad guy. We're not going to let you be the good guy. You're going to do how we play. He literally was just like, you know what? If I have to be the darkness, I'm going to be the best goddamn darkness you ever have. Makes Noctis's life a living hell. Kills his girlfriend in front of him. Kills his dad. His mentor. Waits on the throne room that Noctis was supposed to inherit. And literally strings up their fucking bodies in display for Noctis to see when he enters the room.
It's pretty
But
fucking
all...
dark.
Yeah. Their mutilated fucking bodies just hanging there like puppets, like marionettes on strings. And the thing about it is, though, is that he knew that he was destined to lose all along. But he said, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down my way. That's why I think Arden he's the most evil. I think he's more evil than Sephiroth, because he already knew the end game. But he was going to make it the most fucked up for him as he could.
What's his quote?
For a moment, I felt death's chill wind, such as the might of the gods, but then I remembered I'm immortal, such as my blessing and my curse. Your attack hurt me, but nevertheless, my feelings at least.
My number one pick was Hojo.
Oh god, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was Hojo.
We all know.
Me and Cody have ours like backwards, I think. I have Sephiroth above Hojo. He has Hojo above Sephiroth.
Yeah.
It's understandable. Understandable, though.
So, 30 years prior to Final Fantasy VII, Professor Gas discovered Genova. Genova was a destructive extraterrestrial buried in the northern crater, just in case the viewers didn't know.
I mean, one of the biggest misconceptions, I think, up there, I've talked to Lucy about this, is Genova is not a Centria.
Nope, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah. Okay.
He made a mistake and believed Genova was a Cetra. And a Cetra is a member of a mystical ancient race that inhabited the planet before present-day humanity. Hojo and Lucretia, I think that's how you pronounce the name. Is it Lucretia or Lucretia?
Lucretia.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lucretia. Were assigned to work on the Genova project under Gas. The goal was to create a human with powers of Cetra who could lead Shinra to the Promised Land. It was believed to test Genova cells on an unborn child. Lucretia was romantically involved with Vincent. Due to her guilt over causing Vincent's father's death, she rejected Vincent and was romantically involved with Hojo instead. Lucretia became pregnant, and her and Hojo offered the unborn to Genova project. Vincent objected, so Hojo shot him and used his corpse for experiments before locking him in the coffin. Hojo injected cells into the unborn, which the child that was born was Sephiroth, saying this means Sephiroth wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Hojo at all. So that's why I think Hojo is the number one bad guy.
He created the ultimate villain, though.
He created him. His sperm and Genova cells.
Oh, God.
You had to go there.
Hojo's spunk and Genova's cells put together.
God.
Holy
That
shit.
creepy old man.
I thought Don Corneo was a creepy old man. Wait for Hojo.
Yeah, that's right. He'll get you pregnant and then put fucking cells in your unborn child.
Jesus.
My number one is Kefka Palazzo of Final Fantasy VI.
There it
Ooh,
is.
there.
I knew he was coming eventually.
I mean, the result of an imperfect like experiment on, you know, warriors that possess magic and then their mind becomes fucked, you know, it's not gonna end well. So, like, insatiable bloodlust, the fact that he says, what's the fun in destruction when there are no precious lives lost? I mean, you can't, there are such high expectations when it comes to this clown looking motherfucker of destruction.
Yeah. Didn't you also say Lucian? He was the only one that. See, I'm not too familiar with 6 because I fucking didn't like it.
He is
That actually succeeded
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
being the
he's
bad
one of-
guy? Yeah.
He's one of the only ones that succeed. Yeah, that technically is right. Yeah.
He is considered to be one of the greatest villains in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
The way
Yeah.
that he is designed alone is just, if you don't like clowns, you are not gonna like him in the slightest.
Reminds me of Joker from the Bat Ninja anime.
Yes. Oh god.
Okay.
That's a good movie, though. That's a good movie. I don't care what anyone says. That's a fucking good movie.
You got
His god form is just as like overpowering looking. It really embodies like how overall powerful he is.
Yeah, I do have a quote. It's from the failed game of Dissidia NT.
Oh Jesus.
Oh god.
He's walking around, skipping around, and he's like, "Death and doom, death and gloom. Let blood stain the battlefield, as long as it doesn't stain my breeches."
Okay.
Great.
His blood type's AB.
Beautiful.
He also loves mirrors and playing with dolls.
Bet he does.
What a creepy motherfucker.
Any good psychopath would have a weird, you know, hobby.
Does anyone have any honorable mentions? I thought I should ask that. Honorable mentions of people like protagonists that should have made the list or antagonists that should have made the list. Because I got a few. I don't know if Cody has a few or you guys have any.
I don't have any lined up, but I can just state them.
All right. Because I was thinking about like Waka and Zidane, Edge, and Zell. For me, those are some really honorable mentions because those are very like out there characters who really made their impact on the series and the parts they were from.
I would say mine would be definitely Barrett.
Yes, mine too.
Barrett's a good honorable mention.
Lulu and
mentioned
Lightning.
Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu, Lightning, Yuffie.
Lightning is the female cloud, so which I can lovingly say can go back to the farm. Nobody likes you.
But yeah, I'd say those 3 probably.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Red too.
Red, yeah, Reds are great.
Oh, Kate Sith.
Yes. Quina too, from 9.
Wang.
Wang.
4.
Oh my god.
Wang.
Tom and Pam
Wang.
From-
Wang.
from number 4 as well. The twin magicians.
For antagonist, honorable mention probably be Adele from 8.
Oh, I got tons.
X Death.
X-Death, yeah.
Nobody likes Tree Boy.
Tree Boy.
I don't care about
I love
Tree
Tree
Boy.
Boy.
We don't care about the Void. Fuck off.
Probably,
Set a match to your fucking tree.
yeah, it'd probably be like Adele from 8 and Cypher from 8. Those 2, for sure.
Mine's gonna be Weiss's brother Nero. He's literally an angel of death, and it's fucking amazing.
Nice.
But for some reason, they want to keep his mouth closed to where he has to talk telepathically, and he's in a straitjacket.
I'm surprised no one said Rude. Final Fantasy 7.
Root, nobody cares about.
He has cool sunglasses.
He has an infinite amount of sunglasses. His
Infinite
entire
sunglasses.
suit is lined with sunglasses.
You know how everyone has like their own magic points for like fucking like fire guy. He has sunglasses.
Yeah, definitely Nero.
Kadaj.
Kadaj.
Eh,
Mother.
Who's the other guy? The guy I really, really liked.
Oz?
I'm not
Yeah.
crying.
Oz.
I think my only honorable mention would have to be just Barrett.
Barrett's one
Yeah,
tough
Barrett's-
motherfucker.
Yeah.
He is.
What was his main villain? Don
Dane
or Dom?
something.
Dane. That's it. Dane, the man with the machine gun. That's another one we never mentioned. The man with the machine gun, Cody.
Like the song,
No, the man himself,
Lugana.
Lugana.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lugana was a really
Yeah.
good character in 8,
Yeah.
but he was too busy getting fucking leg cramps anytime he talked to a woman.
Like cramps.
I don't know if you're that far into 8 yet, but you'll notice he gets leg cramps. Yeah.
Oh,
When he goes to talk to the woman playing the piano, he gets all leg cramped.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know that one.
So fucking funny.
Yeah, anytime he goes to make a move on this pianist.
Oh, I have another mention from Final Fantasy 15. Ravus Nox Fleuret. He is the brother of Noctis's girlfriend, Linda Freya. Who gets killed just like Arden's fiance. Gets killed by Arden.
Another honorable mention, Sid.
But no, I already mentioned Sid.
No, Sid from Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, god damn it.
The
Sid-
airship mechanic
Sid
and
from,
pilot
Sid from Final Fantasy 8?
who ends up sacrificing himself for to block off the underworld, so that way Gobez and the rest of them can't escape.
Sid from Final Fantasy 10.
No. Sid from Final Fantasy X's sister.
I hate this. I hate in the podcast.
All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is our first podcast of Casually Achieving a Podcast. Thank
Yeah.
you again to our guests, Lucian and Grizzly Wolf. It's muchly appreciated. If you haven't already, I know Lucian will probably kill me, but he is on Twitch.
Nope, I'm not. Don't listen to him. I stream on Discord. Fuck off.
Okay. We are your hosts, me, Smash Wrath, and
The casual one, Tony.
yes,
Casual _ Tony on the Twitch. If you want to see just nonsensical, and nothing gameplay, it's usually what I do. Just casually playing games.
yes,
Yeah.
And the Academic Achievers also has a Twitch and a Discord as well. So feel free to drop in there anytime you'd like. There will be links down below in the description. All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Mm.